I was sitting in my workshop, sanding down an old oak cabinet I'd been restoring, when my phone buzzed. It was a text from my daughter Jessica. I smiled, wiping the sawdust from my hands. Jessica usually called rather than texted, so seeing her name pop up made me think she was probably just checking in quickly between meetings at her marketing firm. But as I read the message, the smile died on my face. Dad, we need to talk about the wedding. Can you call me when you have a minute? My heart started racing. Jessica and Tyler were getting married in 4 months at a resort in Maui. I'd been looking forward to it for over a year, ever since they got engaged. After my wife Linda passed away from cancer 6 years ago, Jessica had been my anchor. We'd gotten even closer, if that was possible. And now she was starting her own family. I was so proud. I hit the call button immediately. "Hey, Dad," Jessica answered, but her voice sounded strained. "Sweetheart, what's wrong? Is everything okay with the wedding?" There was a pause. "Yeah, everything's fine. The venue is beautiful. The caterer is confirmed. It's just, Tyler and I have been talking, and we need to discuss something with you." A knot formed in my stomach. "Okay, what is it? Can you come over for dinner tonight? Tyler thinks it would be better to talk in person." Tyler thinks. Not we think, Tyler thinks. I'd been noticing that phrase more and more over the past year. Tyler, my soon-to-be son-in-law, was a 34-year-old software engineer at a startup that had recently gone public. He made good money, drove a Tesla, and wore expensive watches. He wasn't a bad guy, exactly, but there was something about him that had always rubbed me the wrong way. A certain smugness, the way he'd explain things to me like I was a child. Just because I was a retired electrician who preferred working with my hands over staring at screens all day. But Jessica loved him, and that was what mattered, right? "Sure, honey. What time?" 7? I'll make your favorite, pot roast. After we hung up, I tried to get back to work on the cabinet, but I couldn't focus. My mind kept wandering to worst-case scenarios. Was the wedding being called off? Was Jessica sick? Was Tyler sick? I showed up at their house in Bellevue at 6:45, holding a bottle of wine and a bouquet of flowers for Jessica. They'd bought the place 2 years ago. A beautiful modern townhouse with floor-to-ceiling windows and a view of Lake Washington. I'd helped them with the down payment. $25,000 from the life insurance money Linda had left me. Linda would have wanted that. She always said family comes first. Tyler answered the door. He was wearing slacks and a button-down shirt, like he'd just come from the office, though it was already past 7. "David, come in," he said, shaking my hand with that firm grip he always used, like he was trying to prove something. "Can I get you a drink?" "Just water, thanks." Jessica came out of the kitchen, wiping her hands on a towel. She hugged me, but it felt tense, forced. We sat down to dinner, making small talk about my restoration projects, Jessica's latest marketing campaign, Tyler's stock options. But I could feel the elephant in the room, growing bigger with each passing minute. Finally, after we'd cleared the plates, Tyler looked at Jessica and nodded. She took a deep breath. "Dad, you know how much this wedding means to us." "Of course I do, sweetheart. And you know how grateful we are for everything you've done. The down payment for this house, helping us with the car when mine broke down, watching Emma whenever we need you." Emma, my 7-year-old granddaughter from Jessica's first marriage. Her father had taken off when she was 2, and I'd stepped in to help. I loved that little girl more than anything. "You don't need to thank me, Jess. That's what family does." Tyler cleared his throat. "That's actually what we wanted to talk to you about, David. Family." Something in his tone made my jaw clench. "Tyler and I have been planning this wedding for a year and a half," Jessica continued, not meeting my eyes. "We've been very intentional about every detail. The guest list, the venue, the vibe we want to create." "Okay," I said slowly. "We're going for a very specific aesthetic," Tyler jumped in. "Sophisticated, elegant, adult. The resort we chose is ultra-modern, minimalist, very high-end. I had no idea where this was going, but I didn't like it. "The thing is," Jessica said, her voice barely above a whisper, "we've decided to make it a child-free wedding." I blinked. "Child-free? What about Emma?" "Emma will stay with Tyler's parents that week," Tyler said. "They've already agreed to watch her." My stomach dropped. You're not having your own daughter at your wedding? It's not just Emma, Dad. No children at all. We want our guests to be able to relax, enjoy the open bar, not worry about kids running around. But Emma's 7. She's not some toddler. She'd be heartbroken not to see her mother get married. She'll understand, Tyler said dismissively. Kids are resilient. I looked at Jessica. Honey, are you sure about this? She bit her lip. Tyler's right. It'll be easier this way. More elegant. There was that word again. Elegant. As if a wedding with your own child present wasn't elegant enough. But before I could argue further, Tyler dropped the real bomb. There's one more thing, David. He glanced at Jessica, who looked like she wanted to disappear into the floor. We've been thinking a lot about the optics of the wedding. Optics? How it will look. To our friends, our colleagues. Tyler's business partners will be there, Jessica explained. It's important that everything reflects a certain image. My hands gripped the edge of the table. What are you trying to say? Tyler leaned forward. Look, David, you're a great guy. You've been an amazing grandfather to Emma. But let's be honest, you're from a different generation, different background. You're more of a blue-collar, small-town kind of guy. And this wedding, it's going to be full of tech executives, investors, Jessica's corporate clients. The room started spinning. What Tyler means, Jessica said quickly, is that maybe it would be better if you didn't come to the ceremony itself. You could join us for a small family dinner the next day. Just the 4 of us. I stared at my daughter, my only child, the little girl I'd raised alone after her mother died, the one I'd worked double shifts for so she could go to college, the one I'd given $25,000 to so she could buy this house, the one whose wedding I'd just paid $45,000 for, draining a quarter of my retirement savings. Let me get this straight, I said, my voice eerily calm. You're uninviting me from your wedding because I'm an embarrassment? Dad, no, that's not. After I paid for the entire thing? Tyler had the audacity to look annoyed. We never asked you to pay for it, David. You offered. I offered because I'm her father. Because that's what fathers do. And we appreciate it, Tyler said, like he was talking to an employee. But the money was a gift. Gifts don't come with strings attached. I stood up. A gift? You think $45,000 was a gift with no expectations? You're right, Tyler. I expected my daughter would want her father at her wedding. Apparently, that was asking too much. Dad, please. Jessica's eyes filled with tears. You're being dramatic. We're not saying you're not important to us. We're just saying that maybe, for this one day, it would be better. Better for who, Jessica? Better for you? Or better for him? She didn't answer. I grabbed my jacket. You know what? You're right. I am from a different generation. A generation that understood what family meant, what loyalty meant, what respect meant. Where are you going? Jessica stood up, panicked now. Home. You two enjoy your elegant, sophisticated, child-free wedding. I'm sure it'll be everything you dreamed of. As I drove home, my hands were shaking so badly I had to pull over twice. My phone kept buzzing with texts from Jessica. Dad, please don't be like this. Can we just talk about this rationally? Tyler didn't mean it the way it sounded. That last one made me laugh. A bitter, hollow laugh. Tyler had meant every word exactly the way it sounded. When I got home, I sat in Linda's old recliner, the one I couldn't bring myself to get rid of. I imagined what she'd say if she were here. She'd probably cry first. Then she'd get angry. Then she'd tell me exactly what to do. And suddenly, I knew what Linda would want me to do. I pulled up my banking app. The $45,000 had been paid in 3 installments directly to the Maui resort. The final payment of $15,000 wasn't due until 2 weeks before the wedding. But the first 2, totaling $30,000, had already been processed. I called the resort. Aloha. Thank you for calling the Maui Seascape Resort. This is Keanu speaking. Hi, Keanu. My name is David Patterson. I'm the father of the bride for a wedding you have scheduled for April 7th. Oh yes, Mr. Patterson. The Fletcher Patterson wedding. How can I help you? I need to cancel it. There was a pause. Cancel the entire wedding? Yes. May I ask why, sir? I'm the one who paid for it. And I've decided I don't want to fund it anymore. Another pause. I understand, sir. However, I need to inform you that our cancellation policy states that any cancellations made less than 6 months in advance forfeit the deposit. That would be $10,000. I understand. Cancel it. And the additional $20,000 you've already paid is non-refundable. $30,000 gone. Just like that. But you know what? It was worth it. I understand. Please cancel everything. The venue, the catering, all of it. Sir, I have to ask. Does the bride know about this? She will, soon. After I hung up, I felt lighter than I had in months. I sent Jessica a simple text. I've canceled the resort booking. Since I'm too embarrassing to attend the wedding, I decided I'm also too embarrassing to pay for it. You and Tyler can fund your own elegant celebration. My phone rang within 30 seconds. I ignored it. It rang 14 more times that night. I ignored all of them. The next morning, Jessica showed up at my house at 7 a.m. She looked like she hadn't slept. Her eyes were red and swollen. Dad, please. You can't do this. I was making coffee. I didn't offer her any. I can, and I did. But everyone's been invited. The plane tickets are booked. Tyler's boss is coming. My entire office. Then you'd better find a new venue quickly. Or here's a thought. Get married at a courthouse and have a nice dinner after. That's what your mother and I did. We were just as married as if we'd spent $45,000. This is insane. You're punishing me because your feelings were hurt? I turned to look at her. Really, look at her. When had my daughter become this person? No, Jessica. I'm teaching you that actions have consequences. You want to treat me like an ATM? Fine. But ATMs don't have feelings you need to manage. They're just machines that dispense money. And this machine is out of service. But Tyler. Tyler what? Tyler thinks I'm an embarrassment? Tyler doesn't want me there? Let me tell you something about Tyler, Jess. A man who asks his fiancée to exclude her own father from her wedding is not a man who respects family. And a man who doesn't respect family won't respect you either. That's not fair, isn't it? Ask yourself this. If Tyler's father had paid for the wedding, would Tyler be excluding him? She didn't answer, because we both knew the truth. Tyler's parents were wealthy. His father was a retired surgeon. His mother was on the board of 3 charities. Tyler wouldn't dream of excluding them. But me, the blue-collar electrician with sawdust under his fingernails? I was disposable. I need you to call the resort and fix this, Jessica said, her voice hard now. No. Dad! You want a wedding in Maui? You and Tyler pay for it yourselves. You both have good jobs. You can afford it. We can't afford $45,000. That's why you offered to pay. Then, scale it down. Or wait and save up. That's what responsible adults do. She stared at me like I was a stranger. I can't believe you're doing this. Mom would be so disappointed in you. That one hit hard. But I didn't flinch. Your mother would be disappointed in a lot of things right now, Jessica. But not in me. She left, slamming the door so hard my coffee cup rattled. Over the next week, I got calls from everyone. Tyler's mother, all polite ice and veiled accusations. Jessica's best friend, Stephanie, trying to mediate. Even Tyler himself, attempting to be conciliatory in that patronizing way of his. David, I think we got off on the wrong foot. Jessica's really upset. Can we work this out? Can I come to the wedding, Tyler? Well, that's what we need to discuss. Maybe we can compromise. There's no compromise. Either I'm invited, or I'm not paying. Which is it? Silence? That's what I thought. 2 weeks later, I got a text from Jessica that they'd found a new venue. A small winery in Woodinville, about an hour from Seattle. They'd downsized the guest list from 150 to 60. They were paying for it themselves, with help from Tyler's parents. And I was invited. Tyler and I talked. We were wrong to exclude you. Please come to the wedding, Dad. I need you there. I should have felt victorious. But mostly, I just felt sad. I agreed to go, but I told her I wasn't walking her down the aisle. That honor was supposed to mean something. It was supposed to represent a father giving his blessing. And right now, I couldn't honestly give Tyler my blessing. The wedding was nice enough. Small, intimate, nothing like the Maui extravaganza they'd planned. Jessica looked beautiful, even though I could see the disappointment in her eyes every time she looked at the simple decorations, the local DJ instead of the band they'd wanted. Tyler barely spoke to me. His parents were cordial but cold. I sat at a table with Emma, who was thrilled to be included after all, and my sister Margaret, who'd flown in from Phoenix. "That boy's not going to make her happy," Margaret whispered during the toasts. "I know. So why didn't you stop it?" "You can't stop someone from making their own mistakes, Maggie. You can only be there to help them pick up the pieces after." I didn't know how right I was. The first year of their marriage was rocky. Jessica called me less and less. When she did, she sounded tired, stressed. She'd lost weight. The spark that had always made her Jessica was dimming. I tried to be supportive without being pushy. I invited them to dinner once a month. Tyler usually made excuses, but Jessica came sometimes, always with Emma. We'd cook together like we used to, and for a few hours, things felt normal. Then came the phone call that changed everything. It was 10 p.m. on a Tuesday. Jessica never called that late. "Dad?" Her voice was shaking. "Can I come over?" "Of course. Are you okay?" "I'll be there in 20 minutes. She showed up with Emma, a duffel bag, and red eyes. Emma was already in her pajamas, half asleep. "Let me put her in the spare room," I said. After I'd tucked Emma in, I found Jessica sitting at my kitchen table, staring at nothing. What happened? I found text messages between Tyler and someone named Amber from his office. My jaw clenched. What kind of messages? The kind that made it very clear he's been sleeping with her for at least 6 months. I wanted to kill him. I wanted to drive to their townhouse and drag him out into the street. But Jessica needed me calm. "I'm so sorry, honey." "That's not even the worst part." She laughed, but it was broken. I confronted him. You know what he said? He said it was my fault, that I'd gotten boring after the wedding, that I was always tired, always stressed about money. Money? I thought Tyler made good money. He does. He did. But he's been spending it on Amber, I'm guessing. On himself. He bought a boat last month, Dad, a boat. We can barely afford our mortgage, and he bought a $40,000 boat. Jesus. I asked him if we could go to counseling. He laughed. He said if I wanted to keep him, I needed to be more like I was when we first met. More fun, more easygoing. Less. She choked on the word. Less like my father. There it was again. That contempt for me, for what I represented. "What do you want to do, Jess?" "I want to leave him, but I don't know if I can. The house, Emma's school, everything's here, and I'd have to start over, again. You can stay here as long as you need. You know that." She started crying then, real, gut-wrenching sobs. I held her like I used to when she was little and had scraped her knee. "I'm so sorry, Dad. You were right about him. You saw it, and I didn't want to see it. Don't apologize. You loved him. There's no shame in that. I should have listened to you. I should have never uninvited you to the wedding. That was so horrible. I keep thinking about it, how I chose him over you, how I let him make me believe you were the problem. It's okay. It's not okay. You gave me $25,000 for our house. You were going to give me $45,000 for the wedding, and I told you that you were too embarrassing to be there. What kind of daughter does that? A daughter who was manipulated by someone she trusted. That's not your fault, Jessica. We talked until 3 in the morning. About Tyler, about the marriage, about what came next. In the end, she decided to file for separation. She got a lawyer. Tyler fought it at first, angry that she was giving up so easily. But when she threatened to expose his affair to his boss, he backed down. The divorce took 8 months. Tyler kept the boat and his Tesla. Jessica got primary custody of Emma and the townhouse, though she'd have to refinance it in her name only. That meant she needed a co-signer. She asked me. And this time, I said no. "Dad, please. I can't afford the mortgage on my own without a co-signer. The bank won't approve me." "Then sell the house, Jess." "But Emma's school is here. Her friends. There are other schools. Other friends. You need to live within your means. Not the means Tyler created." She was hurt, I could tell. But she also understood. This wasn't me punishing her. This was me helping her stand on her own 2 feet. She sold the townhouse and moved into a smaller place in Renton, a 2-bedroom apartment with a community pool and a park nearby. Emma adjusted fine, Kids are resilient, it turned out, just like Tyler had said, though not in the way he'd meant. A year after the divorce was finalized, Jessica got a promotion at work. She was making more money than she ever had. She'd started dating again. Nothing serious, just enjoying life. We had dinner every Sunday now. Just the three of us, me and Jessica and Emma. Sometimes we cooked, sometimes we ordered pizza. Emma would tell me about school, about her friends, about the book series she was obsessed with. Jessica would talk about work, about her new apartment, about her plans to go back to school for her MBA. One Sunday, after Emma had gone to watch TV in the living room, Jessica poured us both a glass of wine. "I need to tell you something." "Okay." "I ran into Tyler last week, at the grocery store." I tensed. "He looked terrible, Dad. He'd gained weight, his clothes looked rumpled. He tried to talk to me, asked how I was doing. I told him I was great, and you know what he said?" "What?" "He said he'd made a mistake, that he wished he could go back and do things differently, that he missed what we had." "What did you say?" I told him the truth. That I didn't miss it at all, that leaving him was the best thing I'd ever done, and that the only regret I had was not listening to my father sooner. We clinked glasses. "I'm proud of you, sweetheart. I couldn't have done it without you. You taught me that self-respect isn't selfish, that boundaries aren't cruelty, that sometimes the most loving thing you can do is say no." I thought about that $45,000 I'd lost when I canceled the Maui wedding. At the time, it had felt like a massive amount of money. Money I'd worked hard for, saved for, planned to use for my retirement. But watching Jessica now, confident and happy and free, I realized something. That money had bought me something after all. It had bought my daughter back, and that was worth every penny.